CSS. So what is CSS? CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and basically it's a system that allows us to create, define, maintain, and delete the styles that we're going to use in all the different graphical user interfaces that we're going to be using throughout the different forms, websites, reports, and so on. So what are the advantages of using CSS? The advantages are, for example, the maintenance, because it allows us to make modifications in one unique place, and this can affect a lot of different parts of the applications that we're building. For example, let's say I store the official logo of the company, I store it in the image gallery. Later in the future, maybe the company that we're working for asks us to change the logo. Maybe I don't know, the style changed or the color changed or something changed in the corporate logo. So if I've been using the gallery, if I've been using the CSS correctly, all I have to do is go to the gallery, change that image for another image. So I'm going to substitute one with the other. And from that moment on, absolutely everything throughout the entire platform is going to be modified to the new logo. Or maybe I've created some styles for my fields. So I've created styles for my buttons or the fields or whatever content I'm displaying in all kinds of different places. This could be hundreds of places throughout the entire application. And all I have to do is change it once here, and those styles are going to be applied everywhere. So that's the main advantage. Obviously, there's other advantages like organization. You have one unique centralized place to maintain and change everything. Performance is also going to be much better. For example, browsers are going to be able to access this information faster. Besides searching for a different image each time the interface needs it, it's not the same. It's not as good as always trying to open the same one. So let's say instead of using the corporate logo that we stored here in the gallery, in each single interface, for example, in a form, I'm using the corporate logo, but I just uploaded it from my computer. Later on, I'm going to another place, maybe an HTML document, and I'm also using the corporate logo. So I also uploaded it from my computer. And I'm always grabbing, although it's the same file, I'm always grabbing this file from my computer and adding it to these different specific places. For the browser, it's going to be much more difficult to display this image because every time for the browser, it's always going to be a new image. It's going to be a different image. But if we're using the CSS styles, it's always going to look for the same image, so it's going to be much quicker. Besides Google and other search engines, they're always going to position our sites better if we're using the CSS well. So this is also important, especially when we're building pages. The next thing I would like to do, although we've already seen this throughout the different courses, I would like to just quickly review the CSS styles. In order to do that, I'm going to enter the application and I'm going to go to structure. I'm going to click here on galleries, and here we can find all the different CSS styles. For example, if I go to images, here I could load a logo. So all I have to do is add an image from my computer. But let's say I want to change something. For example, this corporate logo changed. So I want to click here and I want to modify it. I can click here on edit and I can change the file. So once I change the file, the link to this image is still the same. So wherever it's being used is going to be modified with the new file I just uploaded. Something that's quite important here is to add some text, some alternative text. This is especially important for search engines and for maybe people that have difficulties reading, or sometimes maybe there's a very low speed and the images aren't loaded correctly into an email or into a form or whatever. So it's very interesting to put some text here, for example, something like that, or maybe type in, this is the official logo of the company or whatever. So once I do this, if the platform can't display the image correctly, or maybe someone opens an email and doesn't want to display all the images, at least that text would appear and they know what's it about. Besides, if it's someone blind and maybe they're using these tools that can read out loud all the information of the page, it would be able to give them more information about the images. If we don't do this, well, these people have difficulties accessing, the page because of their eyesight problems. They wouldn't be able to know what's happening and what type of images we're trying to display. So this is also a good tip. Another thing we would like to do when we're building our applications is use our own fonts. So if I click here, I already have some, let's say the basic fonts or the most commonly used fonts are already uploaded here by default, but then we can add whatever other fonts we want. Here we can see an example where we've added the font in its different versions. For example, we've got the version bold, the version light. It's much more convenient to do this than to just add one unique font and then have to use the bold options or the light version or the light options that we have in the tools of the application. Why? Because if we upload it in this format, bold, for example, or regular, this is going to be already designed like this. We don't have to, let's say, the browser doesn't have to calculate that it has to give it more boldness or things like that. So it's always better to upload the font in all of its different versions. I'm going to show you an example of how we could add a font. Basically, what we have to do is go to internet, search for one of these fonts. It doesn't matter, we've got hundreds of fonts and we can download as many as we want. There's all kinds of different pages. I've also left some of these links in the presentation so you guys can download them later. But anyway, the first thing we want to know is figure out the font that our customer is using. For example, if I go to Microsoft. Okay, so they're using this option here. So basically what we want to do is look for it in any of these pages. If I don't find it, I could always directly look for it. Okay, I'm not really finding this one. Okay, let me try here. Okay, anyways, I just have to do it. Look, I'm just gonna go to the Microsoft website. So probably I want to download it from here. But anyways, I'm going to show you an example here where I want to download this font. All I have to do is click here. It downloads this little zip file. Let me see if I can open it. No. Okay, I didn't install this application. Let me try again. Okay, so here I managed to open the file with all of its different versions. So here we have the different formats: WOOF format, WOOF2 format, EOT format. So basically when we're going to upload our new font, we're just going to click add. We're going to give our font a name, for example, whatever name we want. And then here we're going to upload all these different files. Why do we want to add it in all these different formats? This is because this way we can ensure that this font is going to be compatible with all kinds of different browsers and different devices. Some browsers or some devices use one format, others use another one. So it is convenient to always upload all the different formats. So here we've reviewed how to create fonts and how to use them. Well, I'll show you how to use them in a moment. So basically we'll go to any content we have. For example, here we have this content here. I want to change it. So I'll enter its configuration. Well, it's all color white, so I can't see it very well. But anyways, I'll select the text, and here, when I display all the different fonts, I'll be able to see the fonts that I have by default in the system. But besides, I'll see all the new fonts that I've been installing or adding to my platform. So maybe I'll select this one here. Doesn't look very good, but just for demonstration. Okay, so there we go. We're using the new font. So we can see this is very easy to use. All we have to do is create it here and then start using it throughout the platform wherever we need it. If I go back to galleries, we can also see there's CSS styles for texts. So basically I can create whatever styles I want for texts. I can create as many as I want, and wherever I'm using this style, if later I have to come here and modify it, I'm going to make this modification across the entire platform. For example, if I go back to this content I just showed you, I might want to change this. So I'm going to change it, but instead of changing only the font, here I would like to select one of the styles. These styles already have the font, the color, and they have more information. So basically I just have to click on this and the style here would change. There we go. Okay, so that's how we would use that option. This option is more convenient when we want to apply all kinds of changes, not only a font. We want to apply the changes to the color, to the size, and so on. Then we have the styles for dynamic forms. Basically here we're going to create all the different styles. For example, if we want a white background with text that's color black, size 11 or 12 or whatever. And once we have all of this created, we're going to go to buttons. We're going to create all the different styles we want for our buttons. And then we can go to sets and we can create a new set. For example, this one here. Well, not this one. Here we go. So here I have the set where I've added the style of the titles, the style of the descriptions, the styles of the contents, even the styles of the buttons. So let's say here I want my Toyota button to be red. I just select this one here, save and exit, and from now on, this would be my set called Toyota set, and I can use it in my processes. How do I use them? All I have to do is open a process, open any user interface, for example, a star message event. And now here, I want to select one of these styles. So here we can see we're using a style that's called core set, but I could change it and I could select this other one here. Okay, so we've already reviewed most of the options. The last option we're going to see here, it's called CSS Styles for button panels. Basically here we're going to create styles for these type of buttons. So this isn't really for, buttons that we're going to be dropping, independent buttons that we're going to be dropping on a form. This is for button panels. So maybe when I'm creating a website or I'm creating a portal for my external or employee users, I'm going to want to be able to design my button panels here. And this is going to be able to modify the way in which these buttons work. Well, basically how they're displayed. Exercise 401, part 1.